Here's a quick example of this hero. Whew. 3 enemies, 1 shot. Hey guys, Shadek here, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the best sci-fi heroes in the game. The damage that this hero can output is absolutely incredible. So let's jump right into it. Give me that. So his standard perk is called Plasma Arc. Plasma Arc has the ability where energy damage has a 20% chance to zap nearby enemies for 58% of the damage you dealt with any energy weapon. So say you did 100 damage. If this perk procs, you'll do 58% of that, which is 58 damage to nearby enemies. Let's take some bigger numbers. Let's see, you did 10k damage. If the perk procs, you do 5,800 to a nearby enemy or nearby enemies. I haven't seen it trigger on 2 other enemies, but hey, you know, I will be impressed if it does that. Now, in the commander perk, where he absolutely shines, is the energy damage has a 20% chance to zap nearby enemies for 116%. So that's a lot more damage. So basically, you're 1,000 damage, and if this perk procs, it will do 1,160 damage, which basically means double damage. That's pretty good. And Teddy does energy damage, so basically meaning that every single one of these perks that does energy damage will have the ability to proc his perk, doing even more damage. So whew, talk about a strong hero. All right, so let's jump right into it, jump right into some content. So the first thing we need to look at is what the ability looks like when it procs. So the ability is pretty easy to see. You see that cyan lightning? That's the ability proccing. So every 20% chance where energy damage is afflicted, we can see, if we're lucky, some cyan lightning. So the damage for this class is pretty small because it's 15 base damage, electrified floors, and it's not that good. But what's good about it is the perk procs on ability damage, weapon damage, and gadget damage. Sadly, there are no traps in the game that do energy damage, so we can't show you traps. I tried the gas trap out, but the gas trap does physical. It doesn't count as energy, even though it does maximum damage on all types of husks. So this perk isn't absolutely godly, but it's still very good. Now let's move on to some gadgets and weapons. Alright, so let's first try this out on a storm chest. I want to see the capabilities of it can be where there's a lot of enemies surrounding me. I'm gonna throw down my teddy, and I wasted that teddy. So let's throw down a gadget. Let's throw down the hover turret and see how much damage it will do. You can see that the perk is proccing, which means it's very good, but let's check out the damage. Right now, I'm about to slow down a clip and show you how much damage it can do. So, starting now. It does 2,184 damage per proc, and that's not right because the damage should be 112% because he's in my commander slot. Which means that the perk is a little bit bugged, but extra damage is extra damage. That was like 40% extra if I was like doing some quick math. 5,000 and 40% is around 2,000, which isn't that bad. But I would like my 112% epic. Please fix yo perk because this hero would be amazing otherwise. Alright, so personally, I'm not a fan of energy weapons because energy weapons do 75% of gun damage to husks, while other guns do 100%, but this perk kind of changes my mind on energy weapons. So basically, this perk makes every single weapon in the game that is energy a mini Founders Revolt. Every shot, if with a 20% chance, has the ability to, chain like the Founders Revolt. Well, the Founders Revolt has a 100% chance, but otherwise, that's pretty good. The damage seems to fluctuate on crit because, that would make sense. Crits do more damage, and, well, we've hit like, ooh, that was like a 20k. Let's play that back right now. Alright, so the shot that we hit was 22,000, and then the shot that chained was 25,000. So it seems like gun ability damage, gun energy damage seems to actually proc the perk properly. I did my 118%, I think it was, and that was pretty nice. So what I really want to try is large health pool husks. So we're going to take the smasher for an example, and we're going to wake him up and get the husk into a position where they're really close and the perk will proc. And we're going to see if the husks die. So the husk seemed close enough, and we're going to start spraying the smasher, and it seems, oh, the husk got killed, and the husky husk is about to die. Wow, it's one shot. That is amazing. Alright, so now let's move on to abilities. Let's try Seismic Smash. Alright, so let's move on to Teddy because that wasn't a good example. These are 2 low-level husks. Teddy seems to be killing 2 husks at a time. Did you just see that husk and that mini husk get smoked? I did, and I like that a lot. So it seems that Teddy with this commander perk, well, and this will only work for this commander because this commander will give Teddy energy damage, seems to have a lot more ad clearing potential than any other hero with a Teddy. which is pretty nice in my opinion. So, you know, Teddies are buffed again, and I really do like that. All right, let's move on to other heroes like, well, my favorite, Beetlejuice. Alright, so when I first did this, this made me ecstatic. I killed 3 husks with 1 bullet. So I got the chain from CyberClops' perk, and I got the chain from the Founders Revolt, allowing me to do a lot of damage to all these husks. I basically used 9 bullets and I cleared out a small encampment. Let's move on to more examples of me using the Founders Revolt, and it also works with any other pistol as long as it's energy. Energy damage weapons are so much stronger now. Like, oh my goodness, I'm killing husks behind me with the perk. I'm killing husks in front of me. I'm killing, well, riot huskies are a little harder, so maybe I'll stick to the last word. A thing about the perk, it does not proc through shields, so that kind of sucks. I don't know about shielders, I haven't tested that, and I don't have any footage of me testing it, but that seems to be nice, and it's also great against high level husks. Well, no, the Founder as well is just good in general, so hey, you know, good guns being stronger, sign me right up. The last thing I want to test out is the soldier's grenade abilities, because a lot of people use soldiers and a lot of people who should be using keep out with their grenades, and let's just get right into it. A little lag spike, but it doesn't matter. I threw a grenade down, and well, you can't see it from the grenade, but you could see that the keep out field is doing damage, and it didn't really work well for me because, well, this is 124 and I was getting smoked, but you can see that it procs with other heroes too, which is pretty darn nifty. And that's about it for this hero. I really like him. Alright, so this is the last segment of the video where I wanted to talk about the classes I used. So I used the Constructor class with Electrified Floors and Field of Base. I didn't use Fully Contained at the time because it just does base damage, which is kind of sad, because if it did do, you know, energy damage, it would have been amazing for Constructors too, and it would have just been, wow, it's a wowzer. I would give it a C for Constructors. Let's move on to CyberClops, the actual hero. I used Up the Voltage, Bear Stare, Berserker, Bear With Me, and Static Cling. Basically 3 Teddy perks and 2 Shock Tower perks. And then I used, I didn't use Phase Blaster, but you should, because it will give you another ability, a chance to proc energy damage and proc his perk along with Bear Stare, giving you another chance to proc it. The next build I used was a pistol build, a generic pistol build, because, you know, energy pistols, everyone uses them, with Plasma Arc, allowing me to, you know, kill 3 enemies with 1 bullet, which was absolutely amazing and incredible. The last one I used was a generic soldier build with grenades and, you know, a little bit of assault critical damage. It was alright. I wouldn't recommend it on a soldier. I would recommend like assault rifles and stuff like that on the soldier. And that's about it for the builds I used, but that doesn't mean there aren't other builds in this game that you can use. Like, imagine a Sid build with this. Imagine that. I could do that. Imagine a spin to win build. You know, that scythe that keeps on spinning and spinning and doing that extra damage? That would be, whew, that'd be crazy. You guys should definitely get CyberClops. He's one of the best heroes in the game, and if you don't get him, you're absolutely missing out on just absolute amazing heroes. Alright, well, that's about it for this video. My name's Chedek. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.